Good afternoon, Commissioner Wilson. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Chair Matich. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
My only
Right.
I couldn't be there sitting next to you, but this is the next best thing.
Yeah. Well, I think if everything holds together, I think next week we'll get an opportunity to do that at our regular commission meeting.
Okay.
Looking forward to that.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. It is February 8th, 2022, and this is the Public Outreach and Technology Committee meeting of the California Fair Political Practices Commission. Let's call the roll, please.
Commissioner Wilson?
Here.
Chair Matich?
Here. Go ahead and proceed to item 1, public comment for items not on today's agenda. Do we have any public comment? Hearing and seeing none, we'll proceed to item 2, approval of the July 8th, 2021 committee minutes. Commissioner Wilson, do you have any edits or comments on the minutes?
Oh, no, I reviewed the minutes and I'm in total concurrence with the minutes. I move the adoption of the minutes.
I'll second. Ms. Linker?
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Chair Matich?
Aye.
The motion passes.
Excellent. Proceed now to item number 3. This is an update on recent changes to our FPPC website. And with us this afternoon is the program manager for the Education and Diversion and Special Projects Group. That's Chloe Hackard. Good morning, Ms. Hackard.
Good afternoon. Hope you guys can hear me okay. I used to be a political reform consultant in the enforcement division, but long titles have not evaded me yet. So appreciate you guys today. So I'm going to share my screen in a moment, and we're going to go over some of the new exciting changes the education unit has made to our website. We have been doing a lot of work to try to get ready for this election year. 2022 is going to be very busy with the midterm elections. So to prepare for that, we've updated some of our what's new on our website. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So this is the What's New page under the Learn tab here. So as you can see, we link to campaign manuals, new fact sheets, advertisement charts, and the changes to the law. So we're going to start. We just made a new changes to the law fact sheet for all the regulations and legislation changes to the Political Reform Act in 2021. So this is the new laws fact sheet for 2021. So again, it says below are summaries of the legislative and regulatory changes made to the act that take effect on January 1st, 2022. This is meant to be kind of a succinct all-in-one resource to go over all the legislative, and I'm going to scroll down, so hopefully people won't make the motion sick, and the regulatory changes to the act, and we do them by category. So as you can see here, we go over the Disclose Act changes, and then as we go further down, as you can see, we had a lot to do with advertising last year, conflict of interest changes, as well as lobbying, behested payment, AB 571, CARS, and additional other changes. So this is meant to be just an all-in-one stop to know what the changes are in a summary format. However, if individuals wanted to get more information on a specific regulation or go to the commission meeting in which these were approved, those are also on our website. So again, this is just a one-stop resource for all of this, but we still have our newly adopted regs page. And we also have, again, links to all of our consent calendars for commission meetings where folks can go back to look at the memo, see the presentation that was given as to how these changes were made. So again, we do this every year. So we had one for 2020. We did a lot in 2021. So this is a 9-page document of all the changes that we've made to the act. So again, this is just meant to be a really easy resource for people to access if they have questions on a new regulation, what changed, and when it took effect. So this is hopefully something that will be used by the public. I know that us as staff use it to point people to if they're confused as to a new regulation or when a CARS effect will change and what that requirement is going to be for Secretary of State. So again, this is a really easy, good resource. And then additionally, moving on, we also created, this is most the product of Karen Harrison. So we also have a behested payment report fact sheet. Now this fact sheet It goes in with regarding the new changes that we just made to Behested payment reports. And we'll go into more detail at the commission meeting with our new proposed form, but all the regulations went into effect in December 2021, requiring additional information on the Behested payment report. So this fact sheet goes into great detail in how to report these new information required for certain Behested payments. So again, some notable information that is contained in this fact sheet is like how to report estimated payment information, how to report a relationship where a payor is the named party or a subject of a proceeding before the official's agency, role at the organization, and reporting payments from a donor-advised fund. Again, these are all new additions to the Form 803 that were not previously there without the reg adoptions. And we also have at the end a handy FAQ, frequently asked questions section to hopefully cue people in if they are confused on their new reporting requirements. These are some typical questions that are asked to help give information on how to respond to them, how to report it. So again, these are helpful tools to the public and regulated community, letting them know about their new obligations under the Political Reform Act, and an all-in-one place for questions to go to for Behested payment reporting questions. So we're really excited by this, and I know that it's going to be a lot of changes going forward with the new Form 803 and what information they need to provide on it. So again, this fact sheet is meant to help guide individuals on how to report on the Form 803. Then moving on, we also have updated our advertising disclosure charts. So when the Disclose Act happened, the commission made really handy advertisement charts for communications by the type of committee and what type of disclosure is needed per that communication. So these charts I know they're used heavily by staff because I use them all the time when I was enforcement, reviewing cases, but these are really helpful to candidates and committees, especially in advance of the election. So again, we wanted to get these up in January so that the community knows and the public knows that when they're going to start doing advertisements, which may be happening soon, because again, the 90-day cycle for the June 7th primary starts next month in March. So people may be starting to, again, be doing advertisements. And so for here, what we have going on forward is advertisement charts that are updated with the new Disclose Act changes that were mentioned in the new laws fact sheet. So some notable things here. Again, we added, let's see if I can go into one. Okay, I think on this, let me find a page where we made new changes. So again, the commission, we talked about, projected images, laser ads. These were new things that came out in 2021. And so now we've added into our advertisement charts, as you can see here, other written advertisements in formats not specifically addressed, such as projected images and laser ads. And from here, what you can see is the disclosure and manner of display. So again, we have updated our advertisement charts in response to those changes to the Disclose Act in 2021 to prepare individuals as they're going into their election to know what type of ads they're going to be using and what disclosure is needed and how it needs to be displayed. So again, this is meant to be an easy resource. And again, it's pointed on that What's New page. So if anyone's looking on the public eye and they're going to our website, we try to make it all right there for them. There's a lot of information on our website, but we try to make it in one spot where they can hopefully find the fact sheet that they need or the information they need for their advertisements going forward with these things. So again, this is an example of the non-independent expenditure ads, but again, what the commission input, projected images, that's been added. And we've also added information on if you're going to use listening devices such as Spotify or Pandora. Information is also included in these ad charts as to how to put the disclosure and manner and display if you're using those mechanisms to make your advertisements. So again, we're really excited by these. We direct people on phones to these all the time if they are thinking about doing an ad or have questions on what they need to make their disclaimer as. We direct people to these pages and they're really helpful to everyone. So we're excited that these are up and going in advance of 2022. And then lastly, for website updates, and this was born out of a prior public outreach and technology meeting. We have updated our where to file pages for candidates, general purpose committees, ballot measure committees, and judicial candidates. And I'll give an example. So at one of the prior, I think it was December 2020, and again, we've had some changes to them because we are anticipating cars. So we had to take all the cars information out. We saved it because that day is going to come. And so now it is updated again to what it currently is by if you're a city, county, state, where you need to file and how. And we are trying to make it again a one-stop shop where there's tables. So I'm going to give an example of the candidate page. So again, now we have a table for each type of candidate. So again, for state candidates, they have the form, what they typically would need to file, where they need to file, and the method in which they need to file. And so this hopefully makes it easy for them to understand what their obligations are going into an election. And additionally, that where to file page is next to the when to file page. So hopefully they can go get the filing schedule for their election and then come look at this for when they're going to be filing, because then they'll have an understanding of, I need to do my 501 with my candidate intention as I'm running for office, and then I need to file either a Form 470 if I'm not going to raise $2,000 or more by that first pre-election deadline. So they can cross-check it with both. So there's a reason that they're all kind of housed together to make sense of what you need to file, where you need to file, and when with that filing schedule. So again, we have it broken down by type of candidate and type of filer. So again, these are the candidates that do not want to spend $2,000 or more. So they're what we call Form 470 filers. They're not committee filers. So again, we break it down by jurisdiction because it's going to matter. You're going to file in different places if you're a county or a city candidate. So it's broken down in chart form for each type of candidate that you are. So county candidates, you're going to go here, scroll down. City candidates, you're going to come to this section. Then as you continue to scroll down, there's a lot of information here. So then these are for the committee filers. So again, for state candidates who plan to raise or spend $2,000 or more, here's this handy chart for everything that you likely will need to file. And again, information for state candidates too, if they qualify to be electronic filers when they raise or spend $25,000 or more. So again, we try to make it as clear as possible to people on what they likely will need to be filing, where they file, and what method. And again, we have, as you can see here, we have jump links, which I don't want to give motion sickness to anyone on the 496, because it's a bit different depending on that one and where you're active, how you file it. So we have it succinctly at the bottom for everyone when they're filing. So again, we try to break it down and give handy tables to each type of candidate for what they're filing for. So if you're a Form 470 filer, that's at the top, but these are county candidates, whether for committees, and again, for where they need to file and when. So again, this is the candidate page. And I'm going to give another example. So bear with me. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. So this is the 496 notation. Again, that gives a lot of information on filing 496s if that applies to them. Again, candidates with cross-filing. Sometimes we see that going into an election year, that if they are running for a new office but are holding a different office, they might need to cross-file. And then additionally, if they have multiple committees, but the most important thing I think to highlight at the bottom here is that we wanted to notate to candidates that they have a candidate Form 700 filing obligation likely. So here we give a little bit more information on filing that candidate Form 700, and we have links to the Form 700 page with lots of information for them. And again, we give information on who must file the candidate Form 700 and where to file that candidate Form 700. So again, trying to make it all in one place. I know it's a lot of information because we have lots of different types of candidates. But again, we tried to make it where they have a table, they can look to see what they need to likely file. And then two, as they keep going, they can see, okay, I also have this obligation where I need to file a candidate Statement of Economic Interest, Form 700. Where do I file that? And then we try to give more information here because this is information from our reference pamphlet in Form 700. But I wanted to make it clear to them that this is where this is, so they have it without having to search through other documents on our website. So again, we're trying to make everything easy, but we have a lot of information. The Political Reform Act is wide. So I know this can be a lot, but that's why we also have our phone hours and email to be able to point people to these resources. So these are, as much as they're helpful to the public, they're also helpful to staff for us to be able to give people the link or the resource on where they can go to. And again, we have this type of format. Okay, one that's less long for each type of page for where to file. So this is the judicial candidate one, much less information than all types of candidates under the Political Reform Act. So again, these are for lists on that who will raise or spend $22,000 or more. And then, so again, the 501, 410, 460, 496, 497. And then for like less than 2,000, this is their chart if they wanted to be a Form 470 filer, and then the 496. So again, we tried to make it clear to the public on what their potential filing obligation is. And again, it's helpful as I scroll up that again, it's within that campaign rules section of our website, which has lots of other additional information, including that when to file campaign statements with the filing schedules, because that often is helpful to pair together. So again, that's most of the updates that we have done to the website. Is there anything you guys would like me to share my screen and show? Would you like to see the other pages for general purpose and ballot measure committees?
Commissioner Wilson, anything in particular you'd like to see beyond what Ms. Hacker has already demonstrated?
Well, actually, I think Ms. Hackett's presentation was very detailed and informative. I've seen some of this information when I've gone out to the website, and I just want to commend Ms. Hackett and all of the staff who worked countless hours on making this happen. While it might take 15, 20 minutes to provide a presentation and overview, as Ms. Hackett did, I know it takes countless hours and a collective effort by many of the staff under Galena West, direction to facilitate this process. So again, thank you. And I find the website to be very user-friendly, and I might be biased, but based on other state agency and department websites, I think that the FPPC ranks #1. So thank you.
Welcome. I learned how to code while doing this, so I was excited to learn new things here. But no, we really do try to make it user-friendly because there are so many resources and there's so much information that candidates need to have as they're preparing to run for office. So again, we're happy to hear that, and we are gladly able to take suggestions on making things clearer or easy for people to access.
And Chair Matich, if I can make one additional comment?
Yes, please.
Yes, I would also say that the enhanced search functions that have been added in the last several months, when you use enhanced search functions to look for specific information, then you're able to zero in on information, and that would make it easier for candidates, for individuals doing research, state employees, legislative employees as well. So again, thank you, and kudos to everyone who worked on this effort.
Thank you.
I would just echo that. I think Ms. Hacker, this is an outstanding job across the board, really. So great job to you and your team that worked on this. The only question I had for you, going back to the frequently asked questions sheet that highlights all the recent legislative and regulatory changes. I think you started off with that one. My question for you is, I think this is great, and I'm glad that we're putting this on the website. Are we pushing this out by using our listserv as well to those folks who have signed up to get legislative and regulatory updates?
Not to my knowledge, but I can definitely have that be asked to our legal division team and maybe Jay or Sasha if they know. Unfortunately, I'm still new in this role, so I don't have the institutional knowledge on whether these things have been pushed out in the past. Because again, we made one for changes that were made in 2020. But this is definitely something that happy to send out to the listserv and the regulated community just so that they're aware of this resource.
Yeah, and I think
it's a great one-stop shop. So I do think you should give some. Sorry, Commissioner Wilson, you were starting to say.
No, excuse me, Commissioner Matich. I assumed you were finished. I was just going to add, that's an excellent point that Chair Matich has recommended. And given the role and responsibility at the local level that city clerks assume, it might not be a bad idea to target some kind of email or training to the actual city clerks in the several hundred cities in the state that come under the purview of the Political Reform Act. But if that's covered by the listserv, then I think that's fine. I just wouldn't want someone to receive this and say, "Oh, this is really no big deal." Every city clerk at the local level should be reviewing this information and not delegating it, because it's not only informative but critical to the elected officials that those city clerks and deputy city clerks interact with at the local level.
And that's a great point, Commissioner Wilson. I'm going to scroll down and hopefully not, again, trying really hard not to give motion sickness to whoever's watching this, and see if I can find it on, because again, we had AB 571 go into effect in 2021, and that affects a lot of local cities and counties that do not have local campaign ordinance or a no limit ordinance. So this is really helpful, I think, for the city clerks and county clerks that are subject to AB 571 to know what those new regulatory changes are, to what their filers are likely going to be subject to coming into this election. So that's a great point, and we will definitely, I'll reach out to who manages our listservs to see if we can push this out to everyone, just so that they know this resource is available to them.
Yeah, as long as that's okay with the chair.
Yep, absolutely. I think it's a great idea.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now. Just and then I have like an oral update as well for you guys later on the diversion program.
Yeah,
Anything?
hold on one second.
Okay.
Hang on, Ms. Hager. I just want to call for any public comment on item 3 before we move to the next item. Any public comment on item 3? Hearing and seeing none, then I think we can proceed to item 4, and that, as you were alluding to, Ms. Hackard, is the update on the legal division's new diversion program.
Yes, we're very excited by this. This is a new project for us, and Dominika Wojcicka, who is the diversion program manager, has been doing a great job. So again, the purpose of the diversion program is to allow for education of respondents who have little or no experience with the Political Reform Act and then commit minor violations. And this is in lieu of paying like a monetary penalty. They would take a part of the diversion program. So again, we've been working on this. Dominika was hired in November. We're working very hard to get this up and going this year. The authority to establish the diversion program is based on Regulation 18360.1, which required the Commission to develop the diversion program as soon as feasible. So we're actively working on this to get this going. And again, we're hoping that this spring we will launch our first course of the diversion program, which will be on the Statement of Economic Interest. And this is a collaboration between us and the legal division. This is a legal division program, but we will be working with our enforcement division to receive these referrals of individuals that qualify for the diversion program to take a part of our course. And again, we're going to be starting with the Statement of Economic Interest, hopefully very soon. And then throughout the calendar year of 2022, we'll be adding other courses on other topics of kind of routine minor violations of the Political Reform Act, including campaign, lobbying, and behested payments. So all very exciting, lots of new things happening. And we have hired Sylvia Riveros, who is the PRC in the diversion program, and has been great because she was in the education unit previously. So I'm sad to see her go, but happy that she's still with us in the diversion program to help create the program itself. And then we are hiring another staff member shortly to have it be fully staffed and going in advance of our spring hopeful launch date.
Commissioner Wilson, any questions for Ms. Hackard on the diversion program update? Right. Ms. Hackard, thank you very much for your update on the diversion program. I know you guys have been working very hard on that for several months, so looking forward to that getting up and running here soon. And so your intention is to provide a fuller update to the full commission?
Yes, this is a short update on the progress of the diversion program. And again, we're hoping we'll have a more full update going forward for the whole commission next week at the commission meeting.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to that. All right. Thank you, Ms. Hackard. Any public comment on item number 4? Hearing and seeing none. Commissioner Wilson. Do you have anything that you wanted to direct staff to take a look at and report back at a future Outreach and Technology Committee meeting?
Well, no, Chair Matich, all the questions that I had been prepared to ask have been answered either by you or Ms. Hackett during the presentation. So thank you.
Again, thank you very much, Ms. Hackett. Appreciate your efforts. I'll
Thank
go
you
ahead
both,
and
and
move at this. Sorry. All right, I'll go ahead and make a motion to adjourn then.
Second,
Wilson?
I move, yeah,
Commissioner Wilson,
aye.
Chair Matich.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Commissioner Wilson. I'll see you next week in
Okay, I
person.
can't wait.
All right, take care. Bye.
All right, thank you.